4 more hits first of all.
Yeah.
And then you're going to talk about the landslide. Yeah.
All right,
Did
go
it
again.
record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Again.
Yep, 3 more. She thinks I'm kidding.
All right. One more.
Excellent. You want to take a shot at interpreting it for people?
Yeah, way to put me on the spot here.
We probably won't know if
Want
we
to
get
come
it
stand
wrong.
over here?
I sit in the chair.
Creak your neck.
While he's thinking about that, I'll explain a couple of things. First of all, when you hit, you can hear the wave. That's one of the slow ones. Everything in the earth is going to be faster.
Could you guys stop quiet?
The first, at the short ranges, what you're going to see are short distances between the source and receiver. It's just a direct moving across the surface. As you go out to longer ranges, the things that arrive first go down to some geologic layer where the rock is more competent, and it travels along that, more competent faster, travels along that and comes up. And so by having these things separated out over range, we can sample the near surface, we can sample down several meters, and sample down several more meters. Okay? Then we can measure their velocities. And the velocities will tell us, is it unconsolidated sediments? Is it bedrock? Is it sandstone that's porous?
So each type of rock has a different signal?
Exactly. So in this particular location, it's quite likely, because I saw the earlier one, that we're going to see the Eugene Formation. Does anybody know what the Eugene Formation is?
Clay. I have no idea. I guess clay.
Sand, probably the ocean.
Riverbed.
It's sandstone from the Eocene age that was formed in the coastal area, and you can see it along the Willamette River. You can go down and collect Eocene age fossils. And when they dug the foundation for the new science complex buildings, all of the kids from local schools came over and went fossil hunting. And the Eugene Formation in this area is about 10 to 15 feet, half the height of Edison School beneath us.
So you say it was coastal area. This area was coastal, and the continent has since been added to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can find seashells, clam shells, all sorts of things in the Eugene Formation. I don't know where all you folks are from, but did you live through the Woodburn earthquake here?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
My bird woke me up, actually.
and if your bird felt it, where did you live?
Off a country club. Just
So
At the
closer
river?
to the river.
yeah.
Yeah.
But my bird woke me up and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Then about 30 seconds later, it shook.
In this part of town, up in the hills, they didn't feel anything, right? Down near the river, I used to live by the rose gardens. It shook my house and woke me up out of bed. So remember we talked about site response. If you're on gooey sediments versus bedrock, you're going to have a different site response. So back to your question, what can we get out of this relevant to landslides or earthquakes? Well, we don't know the thickness of landslides in the Coast Range. We know they're there. You can see them in the shape of the hill slopes themselves. But are they 3 meters thick or 30 meters thick? That thickness affects how they behave during an earthquake, and it also is just an important thing for the geomorphologist to know, how deep are these things carving in. So
so when they're building like those bridges through on Highway 20, are they trying to get the foundations all the way down to the bedrock, or not necessarily? I mean, that's why the whole highway's falling apart, right?
It is. They really chose a stupid location, and they chose a company that doesn't know how to build in those areas. It will be hard to avoid landslides in the Coast Ranges. There are literally thousands of them. So, if they had come in beforehand and done some geotechnical studies, they could have found out which landslides are thick, which landslides are thin, and how deep do I have to go to put my bridge moorings, or whatever you want to call them, piers, into bedrock.
And that technology was available.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did they give up on that project?
Were they just the lowest bid? And